right, folks, here I am. I'm doing the news. All right, here we go. So I don't know if you have been following this whole situation that we have going on here. I mean, how could you not be following it? Because it affects your life, it affects my life, it affects everybody's life all over the world right now with this whole coronavirus situation. But it may be one thing that you have not been paying attention to, and that is if you are similar to most people, you don't particularly care for Fumbles. And if you don't know who Fumbles is, all you have to do is just look at your TV screen, and that's on any given day, and you see Fumbles, Donald Fumbles Trump over there, the DC DUNCE. And basically every day, man, this guy is doing something stupid. So this was a story that I found, and it was an opinion, an op-ed. And so what it goes on to say is that for the good of the nation, for the health of the country, and the interest of doing something drastic to mitigate a national disgrace, Trump should self-quarantine. So it says, seriously, every time he opens his mouth or makes an appearance, he puts the American people more at risk. His 3 years of flagrant and unremitting lying have made him the last person who should be the source of life and death information for 330 million Americans. Trump should be isolated as well. He may have been exposed to a Brazilian official who tested positive for the coronavirus that was at Mar-a-Lago with the president just a few days ago. Nothing reveals character like a crisis. Trump's primetime address to the nation on Wednesday was a full-blown disaster, blaming Europe, congratulating himself, fanning confusion and panic. Even reading a script from a teleprompter, this executive could not deliver a truthful, coherent message to a jittery nation. Wall Street panicked. White House aides were quick to issue clarifications and corrections. No, the president did not intend to declare economic war on the world's largest trading bloc in Europe. No insurance companies would not suspend co-pays for coronavirus treatment, only testing. Another thing about a crisis, the only asset you have is your credibility. Trump has zero credibility. Zero, none. Since the coronavirus outbreak, Trump and his senior aides have been deliberately misinforming the public. 28 falsehoods or dubious claims. The president said cases were going very substantially down when they're growing exponentially. He said anyone who wanted a virus test could get one when there were massive shortages. He said this is a flu, though COVID-19 has a fatality rate 10 times greater than the flu. So Trump disbanded the pandemic response unit. Shout it out, folks. He previously slashed funding for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. He reportedly overhauled his own health officials who wanted to warn the vulnerable about flying. In the early days of the outbreak, his administration missed a chance to ensure more widespread testing. Many lives could have been saved. On Monday, he said, nothing is shut down. Life and the economy go on. Those are words of a bullshit artist trying to gaslight his way through a pandemic. No one close to Trump has the guts to say what needs to be said. Stop talking now. Don't utter another word. Put your phone away, go to Mar-a-Lago and play golf, which is to say, resume your normal schedule. He can have his Big Macs brought to him as always. He just has to go dark. Let Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has just the right mixture of bedside manner, reassurance, and to give it to me straight gravitas, to do the daily briefings. Let Mike Pence handle the logistics. Let Congress finish up with the package that will offer free testing and give financial relief to the most vulnerable, and allow career government servants, the deep state pros, who will keep this listing ship of the state from sinking over the next months. to do their jobs. Trump looked at the sun during the eclipse and nothing happened to him, so maybe he feels invulnerable. But he also will never accept any responsibility for months of government inaction. As the writer David Fromm said, the rooster who took credit for the sunrise is outraged to be blamed for the sunset. In addition to credibility, a leader needs to express empathy. Trump is sociopathic on this front. In a visit to the hospital after the mass shooting in El Paso last year, he was incapable of showing simple human compassion to family members of victims. Instead, he bragged about the crowd size from a previous rally. He told a grieving widow of a slain American soldier that her husband knew what he signed up for. The governor of Washington State, hardest hit, is a snake, said the president. In that bizarre appearance at the CDC a week ago, Trump wore a silly campaign hat, patted himself on the back, and spoke nonsense about his medical expertise. It was like showing up at a funeral in a beach clothes and asking what time is happy hour. And what to make of a picture your president's retweeted of him fiddling, presumably while Rome burns, with a tagline, my next piece is called, Nothing Can Stop What's Coming. The man is sick in the head. Given a chance to reach across the pond and offer condolences to the longtime European allies on Wednesday's Oval Office address, Trump said nothing positive and put up a travel wall and a travel ban. With one exception, he exempted the countries where 3 Trump-owned golf courses are located. Tom Hanks, in a few words, revealing that he and his wife had tested positive for coronavirus, was the best American voice of the week. Sad. This is a sad, sad day, and it's been sad for the last 3 years. The only thing, let's see, what have they done in the last 3 years? What has the Trump administration done in the last 3 years? Wow. What have they done in the last 3 years? Tax break for the rich. We found signed a tax break for the rich with the new tax reform. Other than that, absolutely zero. The Republican Senate for 6 years when President Obama was in office, and for the last 3 years since Trump has been in office, that's 9 whole years that the Republican Senate has done absolutely nothing for the people of the United States. So they all walking around like, change hats here. They all walking around like your old drunk uncle, your old drunk cousin, the one you got to keep away from the wine. Like, Mr. Trump, what should we do? And he goes home and somebody's in there like, has anybody seen my cooking sherry? I don't know, Miss L. I don't know who's gonna steal your delicious cooking sherry. I don't know where your delicious cooking sherry is. Yeah, that's Trump in a nutshell. That's your drunk alcoholic cousin that you can't leave anything with alcohol in it, whether it's NyQuil or 3S tonic or whatever. If it got alcohol in it, don't leave it around him because he's going to drink it. And Trump is like that. So this is the next step to that. This is a different story. And this says the Fumbles administration, the Fumbles Trump administration, fumbling the ball, blocks states from using Medicaid to respond for the coronavirus. Wow. This guy's fucking ridiculous, man. Despite mounting pleas from California and other states, the Trump administration isn't allowing states to use Medicaid more freely to respond to the coronavirus crisis by expanding medical services. In previous emergencies, including 9/11 terrorist attacks, Hurricane Katrina, and the H1N1 flu outbreak, both Republican and Democratic administrations loosens Medicaid rules to empower states to meet surging needs. But months into the current global disease outbreak, the White House and senior federal officials haven't taken the necessary steps to give states simple pathways to fully leverage the Mammoth Safety Net program to prevent a wider epidemic. What's making it harder for states to quickly sign up poor patients for coverage so they can get necessary testing or treatment if they are exposed to coronavirus. I'm going to read that again. This affects you. That's making it harder for states to quickly sign up poor patients for coverage so they can get necessary testing or treatment if they are exposed to coronavirus. So, people were trying to figure out, well, how did Tom Hanks and his wife get a test? They got money. They got money. So basically they're like, well, if the coronavirus kills poor people, that's just poor people out the way. Oh man, people need to wake up. And it threatens to slow efforts by states to bring on new medical providers, set up emergency clinics, or begin quarantining and caring for homeless Americans at high risk for the virus. If they wanted to, they could. Cindy Mann, who oversaw the medical program in the Obama Medicaid program in the Obama administration and worked with states to help respond to the H1N1 flu virus crisis in 2009. One reason the federal health officials have not acted appears to be President Donald Fumbles Trump reluctance to declare a national emergency. That's a key step that would clear the way for the states to get Medicaid waivers to more nimbly attack coronavirus. But it would conflict with Fumbles Trump's repeated efforts to downplay the seriousness of the epidemic. Another element may be ideological. The administration official who oversees Medicaid, Seema Verma, head of the government Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, has been champion of efforts by conservative states to trim the number of people enrolled in Medicaid. The steps that California, Washington, and other states hard hit by the epidemic wanted to take would increase the number of people enrolled in the program. So Medicaid could be the nation's biggest public health responder, but it is such an object of ire in this administration. A Medicaid expert from George Washington University, their ideology is clouding their response to a crisis. So here we have a crisis here in the United States that's basically being ignored because, see, they want to lower the number of people that are receiving Medicaid in the United States, and so therefore they do not want to open up the door for the Medicaid to be used to help fight the coronavirus. That's what it's there for. Duh. Stop drinking the sherry, Trump. Stop drinking all the sherry, man. Drinking the cooking sherry. And this I have to say this again. Last week, Trump called the governor of Washington State, Jay Inslee, a snake after the governor, a Democrat, criticized the administration for slow coronavirus response, and he had every right to criticize the idiot Donald Fumbles, DC Dunce Trump over there. And you can add whatever name you want to add to that. Is putting all our lives in jeopardy. All our lives in jeopardy because he want to try to steal. They want to try to steal as much money as they could possibly steal from this Medicaid program. And he don't want to try to save things. Sad. KB Video News, y'all. What can I say? Peace.